All right, everyone. Thank you very much for making it down to today's webinar. Thank you very much for joining. And just quickly before we deep dive into the conversation for the day, I want to quickly say a very great Happy New Year to everyone right now in this live streaming. To all our audience right now, I want to say Happy New Year and then compliment of the season to you. All right. That said, I would quickly want to bring in the speaker for today, which is the person of Renuka. Renuka, she's AI automation and data science expert. She's going to help us to, X-ray and demystify the topic, which has been everywhere. And then everybody's talking about the Gen AI, talking about the LLM. So we'll be looking at the generative AI roadmap. We'll look at how forward-looking organizations can leverage the power of LLMs for sustainable and viable growth in their businesses. So I would want to bring in right now Renuka. Renuka, I hope you're right now with us. Hey, Renuka, how are you today?
Hey Bayo, thank you for a great introduction. I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. And then Renuka, what's the weather right there in your hand? I mean, you're right now in the US, correct?
Yes, I am in US, SF Bay Area.
So how is it going right now in US?
That's cool.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Renuka, just on the quick intro, I think people right now they are ready to get to hear from you and then see how you help demystify this topic, and then some business owners are also right now in the live streaming. They want to see how they can leverage these LLM and make it to make their businesses boom and manage their business accordingly. So we want to explore. I want to learn too. All
Awesome.
right.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Uh,
Renuka, you can proceed, please.
yeah,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Bayo, there is a small lag. So can you hear me?
Oh, sure. You are audible actually, Renuka. I can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear,
Oh,
I can hear you.
awesome. Great. So
Yeah.
let me present my screen. I think, can you see my screen here?
It's loading up.
Uh,
Okay.
mm,
Not yet. You may need to reshare. Okay.
mhm.
It should load up soon. Yeah. Now I can see your screen, Renuka.
Great.
Okay.
So
Can
happy
we
New Year,
have
everyone.
a kind
And
of Renuka? Sorry to interrupt. Can we have a more fuller screen, like the screen being full,
it's
so that we can
okay.
see it more clearly?
Yeah. Uh, how about now?
Not yet. Okay, better now. Perfect. I think this look perfect. This is
Yeah,
great.
I think there is a small lag with gamma as well. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes, very much clearer now.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Hi. So happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am Renuka. I work here with a startup as an AI product lead, and please feel free to send me a request if you have any questions. I would happy to talk to everyone, and I mentor people as well on TopMate. And if you have any questions, if you have any if you want to go for a mock interviews, feel free to get in touch with me on TopMate as well. And here I have recently started talking to the tech builders, founders in SF Bay Area since AI is booming and so many events are happening here. So I have been talking to a lot of great, brilliant minds. And that is how I started about my podcast, which is Latency and Latte, where I talk to the different tech people, builders, founders, and career transition if you want to make it. So feel free to follow me on my YouTube channel. I'm sure you'll get a lot of great insights there, how you can navigate your career. So yeah, I mean, I would love to get in touch with all of you. And so today, just give me a minute. Let me scroll it. Yeah. So today I want to start. So before that, I know since November 23, ever since OpenAI introduced ChatGPT, so many lives has changed. That is the first thing happened 2 years, 2 to 3 years back, and I want to start with
Yeah,
a
that's 2022, 2023. Yeah.
yeah, I think October, November 23, they introduced ChatGPT basic model and then they started upgraded it. And so, but ever since people, so many things have changed from
Mm,
23. And so I want to start with a very simple question. Over the last 2 years, AI moved incredibly fast. Most of us here probably tried
mm,
at least one AI tool. Some teams they ran pilots, co-pilot introduced, some built internal chatbots, some just explored out of curiosity. But here is an honest question
mm,
I keep asking myself while working with different teams, stakeholders, cross functional teams. How much did daily work really change after introducing those AI tools? In many organizations,
mm,
I believe meeting still feels the same, decision making still takes the same amount of time, and people are still overloaded with different
mm,
types of works. So 2026
mm,
feels like a turning point. This is the year AI has to
mm,
move from experimentation to responsibility, from excitement to
mm,
impact. Here, we have to see real value, what AI is bringing in. So, here, when I say viable growth, how we can leverage LLM for a viable growth, I'm not talking about those demos, I'm not talking about those, cosmetic presentations. Here, I'm talking more
mm,
about the growth side that people trust, that actually helps teams work together, work better
mm,
efficiently, they can manage their task, and that can scale without creating new problems. Right. So today I want
mm,
to share simple pillars built around these ideas that consistently matter more than tools. So what work we
mm,
change, how humans stay in control. Humans are not going anywhere. It's just you are delegating those tasks to the AI and you can think creatively. So how humans stay in control in the loop, and why data ownership matters, especially in African context. So I'm going to
mm,
talk about the guardrails. I'm going to talk about the GDPR, NDPR, data regulations, and why those are important here. So yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is a overall reality check from how we are moving from experimentation to viability to reality check, especially it's happening in 2026, and how you can build smarter using those AI tools.
mm,
Yeah. So the next thing would be why most AI efforts don't go anywhere, right? So it's more about, let's talk
mm,
about so many AI efforts they stall, they don't go after certain point. So most don't fail publicly, but they fail quietly. If even if you start inculcating AI into your legacy system, they
mm,
they failed quietly, and the team built something very impressive. Leadership is excited.
mm,
Maybe there is even an announcement, and then people stop using it after a certain point. And when you ask why, the answer are usually vague. It's vague, like it didn't fit our workflow, it didn't inculcate into our legacy system, people were not ready, we will revisit it later. So there was multiple reasons behind that project, AI project stall. So what's actually happening is very
mm.
simple. AI gets added on top of the work instead of changing the work, right? We need to think about, do
Okay.
not think about AI, just think about, take one AI use case workflow at a time, try to see how you can address the problem statement, and then think you really need AI into that workflow, rather thinking from AI perspective. So AI gets added on top of
Okay.
work instead of changing the work. That is very important, and people are expected to use new tools, but their responsibilities don't change, their incentives don't change, their pressure doesn't change, right? So on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there is a fear that we need to ramp up, we need to learn. There is a fear of learning different tools, and there are so many tools coming every day. So there is kind of tools
Mm-hmm.
indigestion also. So people don't always say it out loud, but they worry about the relevance, they worry about the job security. What if we don't get to if we don't understand the tool, if we don't understand the relevance of that tool, particularly in our workflow or legacy system. And finally,
Mm-hmm.
there is the heart of everything is data, right? So data is a heart. It's very messy, unstructured data sitting somewhere, scattered, locked, and if you are introducing AI cannot magically fix it, right? First, you need to start from the data
Correct.
here. And so when
Mm-hmm.
AI doesn't deliver, it it's rarely because the technology it's rarely because the technology is weak, I would say. It's because the organization didn't slow down enough to rethink how actually workflows come into a picture here, right? So first, the basic
Mm-hmm.
statement would be start. AI is all about business. You need AI for a business. How you can sync
Correct.
up with your problem statement. For example, let's take a workflow, address that workflow. Think you really need AI to have into that particular, really need AI assistance. And then think around it, think about the data, how you are going to clean the data. There are various tools to clean it up. There are various ways. I know data analytics or data science people are already cleaning exploratory data analysis with those data. And once you get the clean and clear
Mm-hmm.
picture, then yes, definitely you need AI to ramp up everything, to work around it, right? So, accordingly, I would say it's not the technology you are using, it's not the tools you are using, it's just about the organization should step up. They should slow down kind of enough to rethink how actually it works. So, yeah. So, this is the reason I would say why most AI projects are getting stalled. So, Bio, do you have
Mm-hmm.
any questions here?
Yeah, so I just need some clarity here. So
Mm-hmm.
from what you have talked about how some organizations jump into the deployment of AI without first looking at the relevance to their business, of course, how it could help sustain their business and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So is it safe to say that because of course before I say this, some organization feels that okay, if there is a deployment of a particular AI tool, is going to definitely make their work faster and
Mm-hmm.
then more efficient and effective as well. But along the line, the AI tools that are deployed, humans or the employees are somehow finding it difficult to run along with the tools. So they have to learn and why they also deliver on their task or on their project. So is it safe to say that organizations need to do a kind of continuous training for their employees to get to use to the AI tool before they officially deploy it, rather than bringing it in and then deploying and expect the employees to learn along the line?
Yes.
Okay, that is
Yeah.
just the clarity I would like to make from there. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. You are right. And instead of just going and running for different tools, I would say just stick to your problem statement and see what are the few couple of tools, I would say, or what are the workflows you want to inculcate. I mean, instead of just going everywhere and touching upon all the tools and okay, now this tool is in the market, let's try it out. And so I would say organizations should have a thorough plan. What are their goals? For example, if even if you are using artificial intelligence, what are you expecting from that one? It's just not randomly you are using it, right? So there should be a proper uh, output you are expecting to have that artificial intelligence in your
Correct.
workflow. So first we need to address that, and
Correct.
once you start dissecting that problem, then definitely you'll come to the uh, better deep dive about the tools, about the workflows, about the technology, what you want to inculcate.
Mm, perfect. Okay.
Great. So this is the first pillar here. I'm talking about chores versus core, and what is leapfrogging. So this is where I want to introduce a simple idea that changes how you think about AI. So every organization does two kinds of work. The first is what I call chores, where the tasks are repetitive, predictable tasks are there, where you need a lot of automation, writing reports, preparing summaries are there, responding to the same questions and pulling numbers from different systems. So there are few repetitive,
Mm,
this is what I could think of, there are few repetitive tasks, I call it chores. And the second is a core work, so where you need creative thinking, you need judgment, you need decision making. These are soft skills, so AI cannot replace soft skills. And these are very
mm,
human oriented skills, we very
yeah.
much in vogue right now. So this is judgment, decision making, creative thinking, context, relationships, leaderships. These are the soft skills we need
Mm.
to have AI.
Emotional intelligence and all
Exactly,
of that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So there are two types, cores and chores. What LLMs are exceptionally good at is chores. You can have different LLMs are there. You can automate your task, and but the mistake many organization make is stopping there, stopping at the chores, stopping at the workflows. Now they automate a few tasks and
Mm,
call it a progress. Okay, we are making a progress. We are using any LLMs. We are automating it, but the leapfrogging means something deeper here. It means redesigning roles, so humans are no longer spending most of their time preparing information, right? So this is a leapfrogging, and
okay.
instead AI prepares, you delegate everything to AI, and then human decides what you have to do with those things. That means fewer hours formatting slides and move that time discussing what the numbers actually mean. So you are thinking it, you are
Mm,
spending fewer formatting slides, but instead of that time you are using it discussing what should be the numbers. So if AI
mm,
only saves time, you get efficiency. But if AI
okay.
changes how decisions are made, you get leverage. So there are the uh,
Mm,
subtle difference between chores and cores. If you want to get efficiency or if you want to get leverage, how you can inculcate AI. So I believe that difference matters a lot in 2026. So in 25
mm,
we were just introducing new concept, new tools every day, something or the other coming up. But
mm,
2026 is matters. This difference matters. How you can jump from chores to cores, from efficiency to leverage. So that is very important here.
mm, mm, mm,
And the next one would be practical leapfrogging. How this looks in real work. I mean, what are the use cases, SMEs and enterprises, how they can uh, use it. So let's make this real. In customer support, for example, we have a customer support. AI can instantly draft responses to common questions. Humans step in when nuances, emotion, or judgment is required. As I said, soft skills. And in sales, AI can
mm,
summarize calls, track objections are there, suggest next steps, and sales teams spend less time on admin and more time building trust, right? In operations,
mm,
AI can turn messy data into a weekly insights. Leaders stop chasing those, spreadsheets and start focusing on priorities. What are your priorities instead of just doing those mundane tasks? Even at the leadership level, AI doesn't make decisions. It helps structure information. You get more
mm,
structure, so decisions are clearer. You can see exactly what you have to make.
mm,
What's the interesting is
mm,
that I believe many African organizations, they are actually well positioned for this shift. There are fewer legacy systems
mm,
to untangle, and processes are
okay.
often more flexible, and teams are used to adapt. So leapfrogging is
Mm,
easier. You don't have to unlearn years of rigid workflows, right? So when system is
mm,
clear,
mm,
workflows are clear, you can easily inculcate AI in that workflow.
mm.
And,
So, in this wise, take for example, for customers support and system.
Mhm.
So, organizations, for example, they can deploy the use of, let's say, like chat agents.
Mm-hmm.
which could help them to automate response system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, using some level of role play. Say if a particular customer prompt or ask this particular question, this
Mm-hmm.
is what should come in. Like a role play kind of deployment in the chat system
Mm-hmm.
using AI chat agents or stuff like that. So it could be helpful as well for organizations and business, especially SMEs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then for the sales team, I think it could help with the sales pipeline and then also for follow-ups and a couple of stuff like that. But then I have some concern regarding that in a case where a sales team have to use AI for, say, follow-up and stuff like that. There is this level of personalization,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that could be missing somehow. So when I say personalization, it could depend. See, AI might want to reply based on it could be generic and it could be specific. It
Right.
depends on the automation in the sales part. So in the
Right.
case of generic, for example, if the personalization is missing,
Right.
a prospect or a lead may automatically sense that, hey, this is an AI conversation or
Right.
this is not human because the personalization part may be missing. Say, for example, if you were a prospect to me, and
Mm-hmm.
then I have had a couple of calls or demos with you on a particular SAS a SaaS product,
Right.
and then picking from our last conversation, I might want to put some remembrance, like I might want to refer to conversation and everything like that to make it more personalized. Okay, so
Right.
say for example, I'm referring to a particular discussion we had concerning your organization and why you should adopt our SaaS product. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we just both had that conversation, and if I
Right.
want to send a follow-up message, it's going to be like me recording our last conversation to make it more personalized.
Right.
Unlike when an AI is to respond or follow up, it may appear kind of generic and thereby sounding like machine.
Yes. Yeah.
That is just the concern I've got in that regards. I don't know if you have anything to say that could help in that direction, at least for SMEs and for sales team, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you are right. Eventually, you need human intervention, as I said, but there are different ways you can fine tune that as well. You can fine tune that conversation, and even if it's doing very automatic, and all the chatbots are, I'm not sure about from past couple of months was the current status, but all chatbots are sounding like that only, very automotive, and
Yeah.
but yes, yes, definitely. I'm sure it is powered by LLM. So you can definitely fine tune those. There are various methods you can fine tune those conversations, and how you can introduce retrieval augmented generation to have that context related. You can have that specific domain knowledge, specific context information. You can have. There are different ways, deep dive you can do it, and you can fine tune that entire conversation and entire output, I would say. Does that answer your question,
Mm.
Bayo?
Yeah, I think that's perfect. That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. So next one is pillar two, which is human in the loop, and so here we also need to talk honestly about fear. When people hear
Mm.
about AI, many immediately think about their jobs, their job loss, the fear.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the fear is human, ignoring it slows down everything. And when human in the
Mm.
loop systems are how organization address this. And humans are not going anywhere. It's just you are delegating tasks, mundane tasks to AI. Definitely there are gonna be a different thing also. But for example, let's talk about automating the work using LLMs. As I said about chores and cores, and how you can leverage that. And instead of AI acting independently, it suggests humans review, humans approval, humans
Okay.
correction, right? And this gives
mm, mm,
accountability. For example, now here you have said, okay, chatbots are very automative. Now how you can work that should sound like a human. You need a lot of fine tuning. So AI cannot fine tune themselves. AI cannot use different embeddings, rags, and all those things. You need human for that one. So
mm,
over time, roles evolve. People move from doing repetitive tasks to supervising, validating, and making decisions here. So this keeps
mm,
accountability clear, and it also builds confidence here. So AI doesn't remove
mm,
people from the processes, it changes what people are responsible for. And in many cases, it actually makes their work more meaningful, right? So
mm,
you're getting a lot of time to introduce new ideas, new concepts, creative thinking. You can think about some other project, while you know that 80% or 60% of your mundane task has been taken care of AI. So,
mm, mm.
yeah, and that is human in the loop. And the next, making
Okay.
humans comfortable with AI. How you can build that trust and adoption actually happen uh, in the organization.
So,
So, uh,
uh,
yeah.
sorry, I need to interrupt a bit here. So
Mm-hmm.
in the Iman in the group right now, of course,
Mm-hmm.
that is quite controversial. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
right now, quite
Mm-hmm.
a number of people, especially employees in the Fortune 500 companies. I mean, okay, let's just even come down to SMEs,
Mm-hmm.
where, say, for example, we have the CEO, we have a couple of other strategic employees or roles. And
Mm-hmm.
then in terms of the operations, some of it are put into automation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then possibly people who occupy these positions or who could have occupied the position were denied opportunity for
Mm-hmm.
such a task. So there is always this kind of fear that comes in, and that puts human in the loop, and concern create more fear that AI is going to take their job, especially trying to also view the bigger companies laying off their employees in thousands
Mm-hmm.
because of automation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say for example, in some companies, some Fortune 500 companies, say like Microsoft, you know, Alphabet, which is a parent company to Google,
Mm-hmm.
Meta, and stuff like that, trying to automate their programming system in the tech department. Say, for example, AI has to do majority of the coding for them,
Mm-hmm.
and then some developers have to be laid off so
Yeah.
that AI can take their position. So
Mm-hmm.
this is creating some level of fear in people in terms of the adoption of
Mm-hmm.
any AI tool that brought to their system. So some would want to delay the adoption because of the fear that it
Mm-hmm.
might take their jobs from them. Okay, so what would you want to say about this part? Human in the loop.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think you're talking about vibe coding where there are different tools. We can, for example,
Yeah.
Cursor, Replit, and Lovable also. You can build prototype, you can build your MVP by using those vibe tools. But when you actually go for a production or a bigger scale, you cannot rely on those code. I mean, even you are building through vibe coding tool, you need knowledge of some programming language to decode that what exactly they are doing. Even if you stuck at somewhere, you need basic knowledge of Python, you need basic knowledge of other programming languages, Java, C++, what exactly they are doing, right? And you can definitely
Mm,
go for a MVP. You can build prototype by using those vibe tools code by using those vibe tools, but vibe coding tools. But you definitely need developer, definitely need software engineer to go for a bigger scale, right? And as I
mm,
said,
mm,
roles are going to be evolve. People move from doing repetitive tasks to supervising it, validating or making
mm,
decisions, and more such roles will evolve, will come up. But this is a basic skill where you should know the coding. You can leverage, but you should know the basic or fundamental things, what exactly go into that one. So that's not going anywhere.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Renuka, for that.
Great. Uh, yeah. So next is again how we can build trust and adoption. AI or adoption actually happen. So AI adoption is
Mm,
far more about people than technology. So you can't force it, and you can't roll it out as well like a software update. It's
mm,
all about trust. It comes from transparency. People need to understand what the system can do and where it fails. You need to understand in and out about
mm,
it. And here training matters. Even if you are inculcating AI, you need to train your employees, know not just how to use AI but how to question it as well. And you should know what type of questions you should ask. And ownership matters. When teams helps design AI workflows, resistance drops dramatically. And because we don't
mm,
know how to use it, they sometimes get little bit hesitate to just inculcate new technology, how we can learn about it. So people stop seeing AI as something happening to them, or start seeing it as a something they are building with. It's your completely teammate. Use
mm,
it as your peer, or use it as you are delegating your task to some to AI. And in definitely this year, knowing how to review AI output is a core skill. And knowing when
mm,
not to trust AI is just as important. I mean, you should know when you need AI, you should know when you do not need AI. So that is a subtle difference. And how you can review the
mm,
output. These are the basic skills I would say this year gonna emerge.
mm, mm,
And then another one would be why local context matters here, which is a data privacy, repetitions, and local relevance. So let's talk about the data, which is the heart of every organization. AI runs on data, and if you don't control your data and you don't control the system, that's just not good for any organization, right? For African organization, I would
mm,
say
mm.
this is especially important, and data privacy is just a legal issue. Is not just a legal issue; it's a trust issue. I would say customers care
Mm.
where their data sits and how it's used. Regulations like
Correct.
GDPR and NDPR, they aren't obstacles. They push organization to
Mm,
build better discipline and better systems. So here, let me talk
mm,
about GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulations. It's a data privacy law from the European Union, but it affects organizations everywhere, including Africa and India as well. And simple way to explain it, GDPR says if you collect or use any personal data, a PII, or any sensitive information, you are responsible for protecting it and using it fairly. And GDPR shifts data ownership from companies to individuals. And there is another
mm.
one, which is NDPR, Nigeria Data Protection Regulation.
Yeah.
So it's a
Mm,
Nigeria a version of data privacy framework inspired by GDPR, but adapted to local realities. So simple way to put
yeah.
NDPR says Nigerian personal data must be handled responsibly, transparently, and securely. This is a way how you can distinguish. And I would say in one liner, you can summarize NDPR is more about protecting trust in Nigeria digital community, economy, and GDPR
Yeah.
and NDPR. They are often seized as obstacles, but they are actually guardrails. They force organization
Yeah.
to know their data, to own their data, to control their data, and be intentional how you are going to use that data. So this is the discipline. It makes AI
Correct.
systems more trustworthy and more sustainable.
Mm. So, can we now say, with the help of this GDPR and NDPR by Nigeria and both European countries, would help? Because see, some of this data they are gathered by some organizations, and
Mhm.
then they make use of the data. Even with the GDPR and then the NDPR, we are not certain of how they use it. And then some of these data are also extended. Say, for example, data that are gathered from the African context
Mhm.
by by companies outside of Africa. Say, for
Mhm.
example, outside of Nigeria, we use some products that are not African made.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for example, ChatGPT is not African made; it's from US by OpenAI, right? And
Right.
then we enter some of the data we entered into it, some of the I mean the prompting, some data that could be to some level private to the user, okay? But then they are pulled into the ChatGPT, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have some pictures for
Mm-hmm.
fine tuning. Some individuals use AI for picture manipulations and then treatment. Let me put it that way, or manipulation, as the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So all these data are collected, but they are automatically imported outside of the shores of Africa.
Right.
How can a Nigerian, for example, if I put in my picture into ChatGPT or Google Nano Banana
Mm-hmm.
or X Grok,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then
Mm-hmm.
I put in my picture for modification or for enhancement in a way,
Mm-hmm.
how am I sure that in the future this picture is not going to be used or going to be leaked or going to be used in a way that I am not happy with? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so something like that. This is data that has traveled out of my shores. Okay,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is now in the care of that company in another region entirely different from my region. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
these are some of the concerns that people may have. And then you can also understand that some of these LLMs that we are
Yeah.
using, for example, in Nigeria, in Africa, some
Yeah.
of the businesses that are using this platform, even some domestic AI system,
Yeah.
leverage on the API system from these LLMs that are outside the shore of Nigeria.
Right.
And some of the data that are entered into these also traveled out of Nigeria to US, to Europe, or to other parts of the country. How are we going to be sure that this data is not going to be, you know,
Yeah.
used against us in the time to come and stuff like that? These are some of the concerns that are out there by the users. I don't know if you have anything to address this part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. I mean, as I said, these are guardrails. These are not obstacles. How you are using and how you are using these two regulations, NDPR, GDPR, especially, and every country has their own data regulations lately. I mean, it's been there, but they are enforcing it now because data is just coming from everywhere. If you are using LLM, you do not have any control over data. So I think, yeah,
Yeah.
this is actually a good question. I'll definitely after this conversation, I'm going to deep dive into these regulations, and I think I'll study more about how these guardrails are used. And I would say think of data like a money someone gives you to hold. You can't just spend it however you want, right? You are expected to protect it
Mm,
and use it responsibly. It's more about, I think that analogy goes well with the data, where you have to take care of your data. And it's more about digital, context. It means building AI that respects local realities and supports long term growth
mm,
eventually. So these regulations are not
mm,
obstacles. These are very important, how you can inculcate these into your. And I would say there are different AI ethics as well. There are different guardrails, and biases also comes along with that. And you need to have this data, you need to have these guardrails at a data level. It's not like you're building entire
mm,
project with the help of AI, and you are not, now you are thinking about ethical AI, how you are, what you are going to do with that. You are not thinking about regulation. But instead of doing in the end,
mm,
you should start building it at the first. You should think about AI ethical, AI guardrails, and then build everything around it. It should be inculcated at a data level, data layer at the first place. So this is very
mm,
important.
mm. Mm. So another thing I would even want more clarity about is the fact that some of these data that are entered into these large model language and
Mm-hmm.
then used. So the data, to some extent, I mean, this is just me thinking out loud. What
Mm-hmm.
about, say, for example, US, and
Mm-hmm.
then wants to leverage on Open AI, for example, the data in Open AI, say, we want to assess a particular issue going on in Russia. You can understand the long time feud
Mm-hmm.
between these two powers, okay? That is US and then Russia,
Right.
okay? And then if US government want to use OpenAI data being
Mm-hmm.
that is being used in Russia to have
Right.
access to certain intelligence that could help them build their military might or have the intelligence to, possibly have access to some intelligence that will be relevant for them to either, gain a superior hands over Russia, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Can the government approach OpenAI and say, hey, we want to have access to this data?
Mm-hmm.
So, how secure is this going to be for the users who have entrusted their data to the hands of OpenAI? But
Mm-hmm.
now, OpenAI becomes the middleman because now the government is coming to have access to the same data so that they can be able to build certain intelligence
Right.
around that. So,
Right.
the government is going to have access to it or not. I'm just trying to have
Yeah.
clarity in that direction.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, yes, yes, government has a role, and even OpenAI also has some limitations on it. And
Mm.
yes, I mean, government has his own. Depends from even if it's US, Indian, or other European, African, and they have their own limitations. How you can have this in picture?
Okay. I mean, this is me thinking out loud.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good
just,
point,
just,
Bayo. I think that's really a good point. Yeah, yeah, because they
yeah,
don't have. Yeah.
because I've been thinking, okay, the government monitors these large corporations that are in
Mhm,
charge of our data. The
mhm,
government monitors them. The government, they have the policies to crumble them if they
mhm,
refuse to subscribe to some of their requests. And
mhm,
then I kept wondering, how really sure are we that our data are safe, are secure if the government wants to have access to it? Can the
mhm.
large corporations in charge of our data say no to the government? Expressly no.
Yeah, yeah.
Can they
They have
say
all the
no?
rights to
If they
say
can't
that.
say no, okay. If they can't say no, say for example, you see, these days, new government topples position, larger corporations have to be there. They have to, they have to have a couple of meetings with the government. A lot of things happen in the closed door that we are not in the know of. Okay,
Mhm,
so
mhm,
if, say, for example, that calls, Sam Atman tomorrow and say, hey, I want access to Russia, users
mhm,
data.
mhm,
We can do certain intelligence around that. Can Sam Altman say no? You can't, knowing that Trump could bring in some, bigger armor in terms of policy against him.
mhm,
Just like recently in US,
mhm,
Donald Trump put some level of restriction,
mhm,
let me say an increased, fee to bring in talent from outside of US.
mhm,
Okay, and then apart from that, now putting some level of increased tariff on products that are made outside of US.
mhm,
When they are brought into US, there's a high tariff on it. Okay,
mhm,
so
mhm,
and you can see how the likes of Apple, for example, they have to domesticate some of their productions and everything by the
mhm,
reason of the government policy.
mhm,
So this is communicating something that the government can, through their policies, stiffen the larger corporations and compel them to,
mhm,
you know, leak the user's data to
mhm.
the government on request without maybe saying no. Because if they say no, who is going to help them? Who is going to rescue them from the government policy that would come as a consequences of their no?
Right. Mhm.
Okay. And if the government would have access to this data, then who is going to help monitor the government? So the question comes like, who monitors the monitor?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a good question, I think. Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely think about it in terms of the regulation and who takes the ownership of what.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good
All
thing.
right.
So how are you going to summarize Bio? So let me ask you follow-up questions. How are you summarize in one line about these regulations and how different organization come into picture?
About the regulation, if I would put it in summary, I would say organizations should take full responsibilities, and government should lead them to, of course, with their agencies to help ensure that
Mhm,
the users' data are secured and are not used for manipulative purposes of
mhm,
some of the organizations. So
mhm,
then, organizations should take utmost responsibility for the trust that have been given them by the users. The users entrust their data to
right.
them. So they should ensure that they hold on, just like the banks. So you,
Mhm,
when you go to the bank, you keep your data. But the only thing about data is that, yeah, there are some platforms that may allow you to download your data later. Say, for example, Facebook. You can go to Facebook and download all your data, your entire data on Facebook. You can download it and
mhm,
then have it on onto yourself. So some platform allows that, and then some platform you may not be able to have access to your data, except
mhm,
maybe you write to them and stuff like that. So, but the bottom line is data is life right now.
right.
Every day, everything we do is all about data. Okay, everything we do right now, what we are saying is data. When we
Mhm,
click, when we scroll, when we over our mouse over a particular content, it is data for
mhm,
the users. I mean, for the organizations to help build better product. We understand they would use this data
mhm.
to improve on their existing product, but they should ensure that they uphold the value, they uphold the integrity, they uphold the trust that
Yeah,
people have bestowed on them, and to ensure that those data are not used in a contrary way that could come to haunt, the user. And they should ensure proper protection of this
yeah,
data so it doesn't get leaked or hacked by
mm,
some people. We are in the world of AI, advanced technology now that could. So organization owes the responsibility to ensure data protection, even in their own way, you
yeah,
know. And then government should also ensure that there is continuous supervision on these organizations to ensure that they are keeping to the guardrails and they are
yeah.
not deviating. So this is just what I will put into, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But you
great.
asked me.
Yeah, that's a great summary. And also, I believe there is at every organization level there are their own guardrails. There have their own limitations, and so definitely there is an umbrella of guardrails there. But every organization design their own parameters to judge to protect the privacy of the data and how you can keep it protected. So definitely we should think about at each organization level. And so when you start building with AI into your workflows, you should think about those parameters at a larger level and at organization level. So this is very important.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
here,
true.
here I would say some sectors are especially well positioned for this leapfrogging in 2026, and agriculture, finance, healthcare, education, retail, logistics. Now these sectors already generate data, and AI
Mm,
helps turn that data into a faster decision, better services, and more resilience. So we already have a lot of data sitting here from these different sectors, and now the opportunity is not theoretical; it's more practical and very real. How we use these, how we leverage this data, right?
mm,
And
correct.
yeah, I mean, uh, this is
Um, Renuka, I
yeah.
think, okay, sorry, you can carry on, please. I was going to say
Yeah.
something,
So
but
yeah,
carry
I'm
on. I
almost
would
done.
let you.
I'm just closing it. I want to close this with AI success in 2026 won't come from rushing, or you cannot copy others. You cannot have that, kind of FOMO with the AI tools. It comes from starting small, choosing one
Yeah.
painful workflow. Think about business. AI is all about business. Think about your business problem. What is the problem statement? What is the workflow you want to address? Design it carefully so AI and humans work together. Measure the outcome, measure the impact, learn, and then scale it. So the organization that
Mm,
succeed won't be the ones, talking to the loudest about AI. They will be the ones quietly designing how work happens, and just go. I'm not saying you should go in silos and design it. Just collaborate with your team, collaborate with your own people, and really see what type of workflows AI you need to inculcate. And yeah, I mean, this is start small, design smart, and scale intentionally. I would like to wrap it up that way.
mm.
And thank you so much for your time. And Yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Renuka, for that impactful presentation. And that's great. From the wealth of knowledge you have actually helped with, it's quite very great. I believe that those who are currently watching us or possibly will be seeing this video later would have a lot to benefit from this very event. Thank you so very much. So right now, people, audience that are watching us right now, possibly that will be joining later to watch
Mhm.
this video after the event. You may want to connect with Renuka on LinkedIn. What's it called? A LinkedIn URL is right there on the screen. You can just scan the QR code there to connect with her in case you have any questions and stuff like that. So you can just sync with her and then move on from there with Renuka. And then apart from that, if you have any career guidance or any form of hints from our side to help you with your career or anything, you can, I mean, related to data science and, AI automation. Say, for example, you're a business owner, you want to get more clarity, you can sync with Renuka. You can use just that, what's it called? The QR code right there on the screen to connect with Renuka. So thank you so very much. I think we have a question right now in the chat system. Renuka, can we pick this question up or we can be answering in the chat window itself?
Sure.
So this person is asking a question, and I said most companies use AI for incremental efficiency. So, how can an organization use LLM to truly double revenue growth
Hmm.
from headcount growth?
Okay, so can you
Do
repeat
you
the
have
last?
anything to say
Yeah.
regarding this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she's asking that how can um, how can an organization use LLMs to
Mm-hmm.
truly decouple revenue growth, decouple revenue growth from headcount growth.
Right, right, right. Definitely. I mean, you can use
Let
it
me
as
just let me bring the question on the screen. There's a question on the screen right now. So in case,
okay,
okay,
okay. Yes, yeah, yeah. So most companies use Gen AI for incremental efficiency. How can an organization use LLMs to truly decouple revenue growth from headcount growth? Yeah, that's a good question. And so double review is a simple safety and quality pattern here when LLM output is checked twice. And there are two things. It completely depends what type of LLMs you are using for your organization and what are your outputs, keeping that output or ROI in mind. And one I would say model level review, you run the primary LLM to generate, and for example, an answer. And the question is, how we can first you have to work at a LLM's level and then think about the organization level. First, you have to see primary how LLM can generate primarily answer, how they run the output. A second would be you have to check things like factual errors are there, then hallucinations are happening, and we talked about policy and compliances issues. We talk there are tone and clarity also. You know, the reviewer either they approves or flag issues, or if there are any suggest, you know, you have to fix some suggestions. So these are the two things I would say at a LLM's level. And definitely rules are there, human review, where you can have a human in the high risk cases. And now there are these deterministic rules as well, where is validators, schema checks. These are the very, I'm talking about very high level at LLM side. And these layers catches things, you know, model often misses. They're like edge case compliances or business logic is there. So these are the few things we have to think about it. And then there is a generate LLM, and then there is a critic LLM, and then there is a final output. So once you fix this, I think uh, then there are, as I talked about, retrieval augmented generation, fine tuning. Then there are different compliances at organ at government level, and yeah. So I'll suggest you should have a concrete workflow and scoring logic, business logic. even if you are using LLM at a bigger level or even at a smaller level. You should have everything in place.
Mm, awesome, awesome. So I want to believe Anna, if you are listening right now, believe Renuka help answer your questions, and then in case if you have further follow up with it, you can just leave a message to her, and then she can help with that as well. So on this note, I want to say once again, thank you very much, Renuka. Just let me quickly display again on the screen in case you want to connect with Renuka. You can scan the QR code right now on the screen. It contains Renuka's LinkedIn profile URL. So you can scan it, and then you can connect live with Renuka. You can join. She of course regularly she posts some impactful content regarding AI and some other career development stuff. So you can connect with her right straight up using a LinkedIn QRA. And you can also sync with her on TopMate. She's very helpful. She's a mentor too. She can help. In fact, one of the biggest, news also we have right now for our community is that Renuka is going to. I mean, she's already part of us in our community as our, strategic advisor for AI automation and data science. So anything related to that, she's right now with us in our community. You can definitely sync with her. She'll be very, very helpful. So thank you very much, everyone who has made it down to this event today. Thank you so very much. And once again, I bid you a very impactful and productive new year. And then Renuka, thank you so very much for joining this event today. I believe we'll probably will have some kind of a sequel
Yeah, yeah,
of
definitely.
this conversation. So thank
Definitely.
you very much, Renuka. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
I
Bayo.
don't know if you have anything to say again, Renuka.
No, I just wanted to add one more point. We should have another where we will dissect deep into a actual roadmap, Gen AI roadmap, where we are talking about how non-technical people or in technical people can ramp up and what are the primarily
Mm,
basic fundamental they can start with. So yeah, I think we should do that one.
perfect. Okay, so we'll work on that, and then we'll pick it up. Okay.
Great. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks so much,
That's it.
everyone.
Thank you very much, Renuka, and then do enjoy the rest of the day. And
You too. Thank
bye
you.
for now.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.